What's good, y'all? 40K Kid reporting live from the warp. Yo, got some new shit for you. I'm gonna do one book today, and it is the bomb. It's a fucking dope ass book. This book is from the Black Library. Like I said, I've read the Grey Knight's Omnibus. I've read the Emperor's Gift. I've read the First Heretic. It's also a good book. Man, I read Fulgrim. I read a lot of good books. What is that one? I can't think of it. The Angel Exterminatus. This is another good book. But this book, this one is like some. After you see this review, you need to go buy this. Like, you need to go get it. Just go ahead. You will not be pissed off or mad. If you don't like reading books, hey, that's your problem. You shouldn't even be watching this review. But for those of you that do like Warhammer and like Warhammer books, thanks for watching. Please give me a like, comment, and share. And in the comments, man, you can suggest other books. I may have not read them, and considering the time it may take to read a book, considering I have a job, I don't know. But I have already read a lot of books, and I'm going to go over those. And also what I'm going to review. Now, I will take comments because I can read books in the background, but you won't see that review as swiftly as you think. So just send suggestions and ideas in the comments. Thank you, guys. Let's get into it.
Like skyscrapers, we going up like elevators.
Let's give it a shot. Why not? Fuck it. It has been said by tacticians throughout the ages of mankind that no plan survives contact with the enemy. I do not waste my time countering the plans of my foes, brother. I never care what the enemy intends to do, for they will never be allowed to do it. Stir within their hearts the gift of truest terror, and all their plans are ruined in the desperate struggle merely to survive. Wow. Warp tainted. My bad. The Primarch, Konrad Kurze, allegedly speaking to his brother Sanguinius of the Blood Angels. Dude, this book is nice. Nightlords Omnibus. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, now, to start out, our major character is Talos. Talos, or Talos, however you want to pronounce it. Talos is a Great Crusade era Space Marine. He's one of the originals from the original Legions. He's a Night Lord, but you get it. And then the other two main characters in the story are Septimus, who's Talos's artificer. He's basically a pilot, and he also fixes all the gear and stuff for Talos. You know, he hooks up all the stuff. He's a sharp, young, handsome guy or whatever, and you'll see why. Like I said, they mentioned that a couple times in it. He does got a metal eye, but that's later on in the story. You'll see that. He's got a little bit of a augmented deal going on. But, yeah. And the second, and maybe even more important, later on takes on a bigger role, main character is Octavia. Octavia is originally named Eurydice. Her name was originally Eurydice, but she gets changed to Octavia later on in the story for reasons I won't say. But if you know a little bit about language, and I said Septimus and then I said Octavia, you can do the math. But anyway, basically the reason I mentioned that Septimus happens to be a handsome gentleman is because him and Octavia, they kind of got a I wish thing going on. It's cool, you know, and it blends in well. This book is great. I'm telling you, man, it's got like every element of a book that isn't about fictional space marine. It's like real life shit. This is like so real, but you know, it's a fantasy universe on everything. But they did a great job with it. Talos and Octavia, aka Eurydice. She gets kidnapped later on in the story, but the story takes place on a ship owned by the original Nightlords, an original old school Great Crusade ship, the Covenant. I want to say the Covenant of Blood, but they just refer to it as the Covenant most of the book. the things that happen on it. And I'm telling you right now, people, if you like chaos, if you fucking into that shit, and you just like, man, I don't know, maybe I should feel bad about it, but I like chaos more than the legions. Don't feel bad, because I'm gonna tell you right now, chaos has a beautiful argument, you know, to following under the yoke of the emperor, you know, and his rules and shit. But you do like the corpse emperor look. This is what I call this, the corpse emperor look. You know, I got the crown, I got the corpse. Never mind. Anyway, let me get back to it. I'm sorry. But the mentality and the idea of chaos and why chaos is what chaos is very evident in this book, and you will learn so much. This and I will honorable mention Grey Knight Omnibus. It's great about learning the culture of chaos and the way the world works for them. Because, you know, a lot of times we got the good guy, we got the bad guy, even though there is no such thing in the Grim Dark. But we got the good guy, the bad guy, but you never get to sit and just watch. How does the bad guy function as a being and live? And you get to see this a lot. One thing I like about the Nightlords, and this is also true of at least one legion I know of, is the Salamanders. For some reason, and I don't know where it's mentioned in the storyline, but the Nightlords and the Salamanders are allowed to basically keep the memories of their childhood, their old lives. Most Space Marines get that wiped. They don't know nothing about their like childhood lives when they were regular humans before the gene implantation and stuff. For instance, my examples with the Salamanders, they stay attached to their groups. For instance, if you're a salamander working out on another planet and you get sent back to your home world, was it Prometheum or whatever? I'm not sure. You can get at me in the comments about the name of the salamanders universe, because I'm not really big on them anyway, but they're okay. But they're allowed to keep their culture. Like, they get to go home and see their mom and dad and shit, like, if they're still alive, because, you know, Space Marines live a long time. But they actually get to go see their parents and go see things. Now, Nostromo is a fucked up place. Let's just get that clear. So, no, they don't get to go do that. What I just said about the Salamanders, like, it's like a darker version of that. What it is with the Nightlords is that they have the memories of their childhood, like, present with them. So they know who they were when they were little. They know about the gangs and the robbings and how fucked up Nostromo really is and how fucked up the people there are. It's kind of a cool story element. Because the reason I bring this up is because Talos and the other Nightlords that are with him, the First Claw, they also refer back to their childhood moments and stuff that they knew and how they came up, you know, who they robbed and who was a robber, and they know histories of each other. Like, for instance, Talos and Zarl actually know each other from their human childhoods. It's a great part of the book, and a great thing to explore and learn. It's a great story device, so it makes me want to relook the Salamanders, and I'm not down in the Salamanders, but it just makes me want to go back and look, because that story element of these Space Marines being able to see, when I first started Space Marines being able to go back into their old lore and their old lives. See, when I started with Space Marines, I was like under the impression that they had their memory wiped, done. Like, you don't know who you was when you was a little boy. You don't know your mama, you don't know your daddy, your sister, cousin. All you know is that you were a Space Marine. The memories are wiped. Now, I don't know all the legions that keep their memories, but I do know definitely the Nightlords and the Salamanders. They definitely keep their memory. This ties in and is great. And the guys that are lined up with Talos for the First Claw are actually a guy named Zal, who I just told you about. He grew up with him. Syrian, who's another good friend of Talos. Uzus, who is questionable. He was a great warrior at one time, but he became Coronate. And we all know what happens when you go Coronate, right? Yeah. Yeah, we get it. He's Coronate. No spoilers. And then we got Mercutian and Vandrick. Mercutian is like one of the best swordsmen Nightlords have, by the way. I mean, I'm pretty sure he ain't better than the big homie Sevatar, because that's my dude. But, yeah, Mercutian is like one of the best swordsmen in Warhammer, in Nightlords. Also, Vendred, the guy I just said. Now, let's get into a little explaining here. Mr. Vendred decided he was going to become one of the possessed, so he's fighting a demon battle the whole book. He's fighting against the demon, and the big homie's losing. It's a fight. It's a good fight, and it's very interesting, and it's great because I was also curious about how the possessed work and the way that they dealt. And this is one of the more negative examples of the way it works. It's just really two beings in one brain, and they're either fighting, working together, or looking at each other's inconsistencies and trying to argue that, hey, let me take over right here, and hey, let me take over right here. That's the best case scenario. This motherfucker though, Vendred, he's unlucky. This is I win, you win. Oh, I'm fighting. Rah. Like, they go at it, basically. So that's the best way to describe this relationship. But nevertheless, Vendred is also known as the Exalted. He's a leader. He's the general. I mean, he's the guy in charge. He's an asshole too. But this demon is not. I'll tell you this much. You're going to learn throughout the book that this demon is not so bad, because even though with Vendred and Vendred and the Exalted, there's a Debo kind of a situation going on here. Y'all know how Debo was. Debo want your stuff. Debo coming to get your stuff, son. But Vendred is he's screwed. But as far as Exalted goes, the way he runs the legions, the first claw, which was basically I said Talos, Zal, Syrian, and Uzus, the way he runs all his claws that he has under his legion, he understands that he's got to be a leader and he's got to keep them together, and he has loyalties to the 8th Legion. You'd be amazed. Now, of course, this is really, and they're going to explain this to you, so I don't want to spoil it too bad, but demons know how to pick through your brain and pull out who you used to be. And then they take that shit. So, he's very wise in the sense, this demon is wise in the sense that he keeps the camaraderie and the brotherhood shit going. And that's really an awesome part of the story. Man, I can't speak on it enough. He's actually an impressive character now that I think about it. I originally just thought he was a dickhead and an antagonist, but he's not even an antagonist, and a lot of times, man, he helps Talos in ways that Talos would probably be dead otherwise. Okay, so let's get past that. Alright, yeah, Vendred's the shit. So, this place takes place on the Covenant of Blood. And pretty much the Covenant of Blood is, like I said, it's an original, like, Great Crusade, old school, real deal ship. It's great, it's large, it's huge. Octavia, the way she fits into it, ends up being the main character, is that she gets kidnapped by the Legion and forced to be the new navigator. And we won't say what happened with the old navigator, but they need a new navigator. Alright, so Octavia becomes the new navigator. You ready to see? And during this time period, she has to get to know things. And the one that acclimates her to life with the 9th Legion, 8th Legion, is pretty much a Septimus. And they kind of, you know how romance goes. So, he's cute, she's cute, difficulties. But nevertheless, Octavia Eurydice, she gets kidnapped, and she's a navigator. She's got the eye on the forehead and everything. When she wakes up, actually, I think one of the cool details in this story is that one of the first times when she wakes up after being kidnapped, she had metal over her eye. She ends up getting it all stepped back down to a good old, bandana and stuff, God forbid, poor lady. But she ends up having a lot of trouble with the Covenant. The machine spirit within the Covenant, he don't like her. It like the old navigator a lot more than her, and it lets her know in ways that everybody on the whole fucking ship has to deal with. But this machine does not like her. I thought that this was going to be a story about, her and the machine bond, I don't know, but it doesn't work out that way. It's kind of like basically Marley and me versus like Cujo. Yeah, it's like, I hate you, bitch. I hate you, bitch. Like every time, every little thing she tries to do, it's like, bitch, I hate you. I really fucking hate you. We need problems, yo. I want all the smoke. You need smoke. I'm put smoke in everybody's world. You know what? I hate you, bitch. And I mean, literally, that's what the Covenant. Yeah, that's pretty much literally it for her and the Covenant. And they let you know off the rips. Don't worry, I haven't spoiled anything. The Covenant doesn't like her from the beginning. But they don't bond. Some more things happen. And now I get to tell you one of the best details about this thing. Two of my favorite bad guys are in this, bruh. These motherfuckers you get to know about Abaddon, and you get to know about Huron. And they both, I'm sorry, I almost said they both go into action. No, Huron gets into some action. Abaddon, this is more of a story device, information, thing that you may have needed for Warhammer. It's great though, because he's an important part in the story for a moment, but he's not active. You don't see him get busy with the Drachnian, and he doesn't wild out and no stuff like that. So don't get your hopes up. But pretty much, yeah, man, you get to see two of like the dopest bad guys in Warhammer. So like by seeing these this is how you create an antagonist protagonist like difference, because Talos, for all means and purposes, is a bad guy. This dude would skin me alive right now. If I was standing here and I wasn't worth shit to him, he would just fucking skin me for no reason at all. Probably just because he just wants to see, I don't know what my Adam's apple is shaped like, though. One is like, maybe his heart is, this size or that size. But he would do some horrible shit to me, just for the fuck of it. That's the kind of guy this is. He's the protagonist. It's worse people than this dude, and this dude is the protagonist. So, like, I love shit like that because it takes good story writing. And Aaron Dempsky Bowden, I have to give props to, because he does a great job with this, and I'm impressed. I love reading. I'm pretty good at writing. I definitely can write the shit out of some rhymes and shit. I'm an MC off top, but man, Aaron Dempsky Bowden really makes like some dirty fucking bastards some really good dudes. You know what I'm saying? Props, dude. Like ABD. If I see, it's about like if I see like a Baltimore video or like a Border Prince video, I'm automatically click. Like automatic. It ain't even no question. I'm clicking on that. I gotta see that. Well, if I see an ABD book and it's another book I'm curious about, 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna go ABD. I've been curious about this. I know I'm not gonna be mad about my money if I get this. So ABD wins, like hands down. This dude, he gives you your money's worth. Every book so far that I have read with Aaron Dempsky Bowden in it, yeah. So okay, let's get back to it. This book is a wonderful education in chaos, man, and it shows what I thought in the first place. And these dudes have a decent argument, but they're fucked up and flawed. But anyway, so the other ship that's important in this, because I mentioned all the main characters, but the next main character or thing is another ship called the Echo of Damnation, and it comes into play and becomes an important part of the story later on in the book. And like I said, to avoid spoilers, I'm going to talk about this whole thing as one story. I'm not going to separate it into books. I don't want to break it up for you. I want you to read it like I read it and sit there just like amazed, dude, because this book is fucking dope. It tells you so much shit about chaos. Because the other thing I love about this book is that it addresses the problem in chaos that a lot of these guys, okay, you got to think, the Emperor made geniuses. These dudes are geniuses. Like, all of them, everyone, they have eidetic memories. Okay? They've got, and by the way, if you don't know what eidetic memory is, it means your mind's kind of like a camera. When you see something, you flash it, and you remember it forever. Like, you don't forget it. If you see something, you remember it. It's bottom line. Everybody a Space Marines ever met Whenever they woke up from that gene surgery and gene implantation shit, when they woke up, their life from then to the day that they die, they remember everything. And I don't know if the salamanders and the Nightlords, if that also goes into their previous life when they just had like one heart and they were just normal humans. But yeah, they tackle this whole thing about like how brilliant these dudes are versus their like desires and shit. Like, they're space marines, man, and deep down inside, they always just wanted to kill humans and make them like down, like, you know, shit on people. Like, there were some of them born hating humans, and chaos allows them to express who they really are. So you got some real bad. That's why I say it's a lot of worse dudes than Talos. Talos is not that bad, and I know I just said he skins people, and like I said, I know I wouldn't stand 5 minutes in front of. Well, I'm an artificer. I don't know. He might need me to fix his armor, so I might be good. But anyway, like, they touch on the fact that these guys are geniuses, and they clearly got to see that they're like debilitating and falling apart. And some of them actually do see it. They see that they are unstable, that they aren't the sharp, unified legion that the Emperor had them as. They're not this sharp weapon. Like, killing is like a second nature to them, and they got super strength and powers and stuff. But there are Nightlords, and of course, not to give it away, but Talos is obviously one of them. He sees that we are brilliant, skilled, special warriors. Like, we can't devolve to this. We can't devolve to this just basically being predators and fucking murderers, and that's it. And killing their brothers, like killing each other. Like, we are the only Chaos Space Marines. There ain't no machine to make more of us. At least not that we know of. We gotta stop this killing each other shit, because we're getting off on it. And the dudes to get brought back by like the Chaos Gods, like, you're not the same no more. So that doesn't even count as redistributing chaos. If the Chaos Space Marine gets killed and his pantheon god, patron god, or whatever he chose, brings him back, he's not the same. So it's not that chaos has like an infinite respawn, you know what I'm saying, like a video game. They really don't, because if these dudes come back from the Chaos Gods, they're all fucked up and shit. There's something wrong with them every time. And my favorite Legion is a perfect example of that. When Celeste brings you back, if Celeste likes you that much, yeah, you got some fucked up action going on. You're not going to be the same. I mean, Lucius is probably the perfect example of that. He's still a faultless blade, but that motherfucker's like, he's nuts. Trust me. Just read The Faultless Blade. Lucius, The Faultless Blade. It's a great book. But as this book progresses, basically what you get to learn is about, you get to learn some deep things about Konrad Curze's past, and how he felt about his Legion and why he acted the way he acted. And you also get to see a nice little mixture of certain one of the Nightlords are like, man, that motherfucker was crazy. We were just waiting on him to die. Like, this dude's really like feeling like that. And then you got other guys that are basically like, you know, well, Konrad Curze wanted this and this, so we got to keep this going because we're his sons. Like, it's guys like that too. So you got both groups. They oppose each other and work together, but one thing I would say is that the Nightlords definitely are maybe the mean girls of 40K. And I would say that the Emperor's Children, but now that I read this one, the Omnibus, like, they really don't like each other. Like, they just deal with each other. Like, the camaraderie and the brotherhood and the brother for the Emperor, brother. Like, they weren't even like that back then. Like, and if they were, it was more like a slogan. It wasn't them keeping it real. You know, like my homie, Sevatar said, "Death to the false Emperor," and all them motherfuckers felt that shit, so they dropped it too. You know what I'm saying? So that become the new slang. Like, yo, the false Emperor, the corpse god, da 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 da. Sevatar started that. That's why that's my dude. But no, he's not in this book, so let me shut up about him. Alright, look. But the Brotherhood, it was never like that. They were like always murderers, and some of them are realistic about that. And the psychology of the Nightlords is awesome. Because you can really understand, like, okay, just a normal human being that's willing to skin a person has got to have an interesting psychology going on. Like, to actually take the time to skin a person alive, and they stay alive the whole time, and then you get to watch them scream as they're flayed. Yeah, you all this is messed up here. Like you're done. Like, but I would love to read the book about you, and that's what I'm technically getting to do with this omnibus. But this is a great chaos fucking education. Like I said, basically with let me get back to the story a little bit. With Septimus being Talos's artificer, he gets pulled through the story too. But by Octavia being the navigator. Oh, and I forgot to mention, well, it's no point spoiling this part, but you know, Talos is the one that gets Octavia, so she follows too. So see, Septimus and Octavia are attached to Talos, and that's another good story point that I love about the way ABD does stuff. Like, it made sense. Like, it isn't just like the story will cut to Septimus and Octavia's stuff, or it'll cut to Talos, Septimus, Octavia, three-way split. Like, it'll do that. But you understand because all three of those characters are linked. So you never get like, well, what in the hell's going on now? Why did they just suddenly change the scenery? This book flows in a different kind of a way. It flows in a way that's more realistic, man. And like I say, you learn so much about chaos. Oh, man. I could probably spend about an hour talking to you guys about this, but I'm going to cut it back some. I think I've probably showed you guys enough excitement and joy as a flayed-faced man can. But, yeah. This book is great, and I think you guys should get it. Like, this book rehashed some of my passion in loving Warhammer, because I've been reading so many books now, it's just like, whatever. No, I can't put this down. It's parts of this book that I've had people calling me. I've ignored phone calls. I've had people trying to knock on my door, coming. I'm on one more page, and I'll go check on the real world. Let me get this fantasy shit. It's a great book. Guys, go get this fucking book.
Like skyscrapers, we going up like elevators.